Well, video number 3 for today. I haven't uploaded any of them yet, so I don't know if any of them will make it, but there's just so much that is coming through that feels worth sharing, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna go with that until we can't, until we don't, whatever. So the question is, what am I? And the answer is, be yourself. And then the other question is, how? And how is it that there could be an answer saying be yourself, implying that I might not be doing that I might be failing at being myself? And I am going to give an explanation that has been literally blissfully useful to me, and I think is also one of the foundational pillars of all success in all areas. So there are sensations that we are unnecessarily afraid of, and there are sensations that we are desperately attached to. Our attachments and aversions. This is like one of the core teachings of Buddhism, to eradicate your attachments and aversions, and it will leave you in a state without desire. And perhaps a more conventionally useful way of saying that for our current Western English way, at least for me, is that you're in a state of your desires being fulfilled simultaneous to your desires arising. So we are tricked by our thoughts into believing that we want something beyond what is now, or that we don't want what is happening now. And it can get confusing because right now can be really painful and shitty. But the thing is, it's not that we won't want the things that we can imagine that are desirable. Those will come as desires maybe, and if they do, great. And so we don't need to worry about it, because there is a level of timing, of simultaneity of all things, where all things happen in an inescapably harmonious, synchronous symphony of unstoppable occurrence. And there's nothing that we can do but fail at our ignorant attempts to resist what's happening. And on a deeper level, I feel like I always say this, but I'll just keep saying it. I don't know if it makes sense. On a deeper level, it's not even us doing the resistance. We were born with either the programming, or we were smacked by the programming of an experience later on that pushed that tendency into our unconscious to then eventually arise as a phoenix through the ashes of suffering, usually to be reintegrated as a conscious or awakened fragment of what we are, to then operate in deliberate harmony with everything instead of resistant harmony. So anyway, back to the point. The way to be yourself is to notice where you are in tension of resistance to what is happening in your experience psychosomatically. So this could be like the clenched jaw because you're stressed about you don't know what, right? Sometimes we don't even know. We forget to turn off the stress button, or we don't know how, but we do, but we haven't taken the time to really figure it out. Or we have the tension of if only I had this thing in my experience that I don't perceive, then I would finally stop holding myself hostage with my own emotions and choose to feel better about what's going on. And that's what's happening. Again, partially unconsciously, so it feels like it's outside of our control. But so if we just undo those two errors, boom, you're already being yourself, but now you're doing it all on purpose and all as a yes instead of a series of yeses and nos. And the tricky part is there are parts of us that naturally arise as no's, and those are our boundaries. And there are parts of us that naturally arise as a yes. And that's usually at least one aspect that's always a big yes, is the transcendental core of our identity, that is the yes to all life being as it is, even when it is seemingly contrary to our personal agenda. And it's not that we can't, again, agree with our own boundaries, our own no's to what's going on around us, but we have to also honor on a, you could almost say like a spiritual level or a vibrational level with your attitude, honor that it is their right to oppose us. And we can't like internally like pray against their freedom, because they are a reflection, an aspect, an extension of us that we are being given as a mirror to experience a part of ourselves by design. To reveal usually something like our own power, our own preference, our own boundaries. And so there's always lessons that expand our capacity to experience power and freedom that come in those things. And so that's the gift of that level of acceptance. My AC is broken and I have the windows up so I can record this, and you might be able to see how much I'm sweating, and now it is too hot. So I wish see, just that. There is a thought that wants to continue the video, and then there is the reality that I don't. And I almost went into, I wish that I could, see, and that creates a split between my natural desire and this narrative in my mind that imagines that things will be better if I finish what I had in mind to talk about, instead of not finishing. Thoughts they're wily. They are like AI algorithms that optimize to catch your attention by setting up those kinds of dynamics. So fall back into your intuition, fall all the way back into the intuition, and it will become you, and you will become what you already are, which is yourself, but it'll feel and act all together and a lot better. Okay.